Yes,
Okay,
sir.
welcome.
Vidhi Ranbia.
Thank you, sir.
You can switch on your video also.
So there are bandwidth issues. So
Okay, no problem, no problem. Fine, fine.
good morning, everyone. I'm Vidhi Rambia, and today I'll be presenting a paper titled Intellectual Property Rights Management Using Blockchain. We'll start off with the introduction. As we know, intellectual property consists of patents, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets. In today's time, IP protection is becoming more challenging because of the inherent intangible nature of IP compared to tangible assets like money, real estate, etc. Digitization of knowledge is rampant today, and that makes replication of content very easy. And also, the legal cost of asserting the originality of content is becoming high day by day. Therefore, the market urgently needs effective IP protection solutions. The existing system that we have is a traditional system which requires professional practitioners who are familiar with relevant laws and regulations. This system, however, is insufficient to track and prevent the misuse of IP, particularly in the case of digital assets, which can be easily duplicated and propagated through the internet. It is ineffective against counterfeiting and tampering as well. That is why we need a solution which leverages technology. This is where blockchain comes into the picture. Blockchain has proven to be an effective solution for applications which require decentralization, immutability, transparency, and security. In the IP space also, we believe that blockchain can aid a number of processes like providing proof of rights, keeping record of rights, registering, clearing, controlling, tracking, the distribution and trade of rights. And also we can establish IP contracts using smart contracts in blockchain. So as a part of this paper, what we did is we surveyed different blockchain-based systems that were proposed. And what we have done is that we have compared 4 models on the basis of different aspects. The first model that we saw had a public blockchain and had 2 types of nodes, licensor nodes and licensee nodes. It used proof of work as consensus algorithm, and to guarantee authenticity of uploaded IP, it relied on the transaction history, that is the blockchain data. The second model was a hybrid model based on the properties of private and consortium blockchain. It used proof of authority and zero knowledge proof mechanism to ensure authenticity. The third model focused on the authenticity aspect of IP, and it ensured that by using digital watermarking and hash functions. And to store and distribute IP, it used InterPlanetary file system, that is IPFS. The last model suggested using a private blockchain for this system, which consisted of 2 types of nodes, full nodes and regional nodes. And to guarantee authenticity, they primarily relied on timestamping digital signatures to verify ownership and the origins of IP. So this was the comparison aspect, and we saw that no model was fully able to solve all problems. So that is where we have proposed a new model, which is essentially going to use blockchain and immutable ledger. It is going to be a consortium blockchain, in which we'll record the ownership information of IP, the licenses that are associated with it, and the accessibility details. In our blockchain, we'll have selected nodes in the network, who will be called as validators, who will regulate the process of registering IP content on the request of owners. This model will be semi-permission. That is the process of selection of these validator nodes, and also the process of acceptance and rejection of IP registration requests. It will be governed by a set of predefined policies to which all nodes will comply with. The consensus in our model is guaranteed by using proof of authority. The rationale behind using proof of authority is that it's computationally less expensive than its counterparts like proof of work used in Bitcoin. Also, as our model is based on consortium blockchain, by using proof of authority, we'll guarantee that only trustworthy nodes become a part of our network, as they're going to stake their reputation and identity in exchange of validating IP requests. And this system will be scalable because there are a selected number of validator nodes, limited use of computational resources. So transaction times, that is time taken to register IP requests, will also be less. And therefore, we can scale this system. To guarantee authenticity of the content we upload, we are going to use digital watermarking. In this, what we'll do is to verify the original owner of the data, we'll embed the digital content with a message, which will basically contain some combination of ownership information. This method will prove effective in sharing digital content and while preserving copyrights and preventing plagiarism of the content. Finally, for storage and distribution of IP, we have proposed using InterPlanetary file system. InterPlanetary file system is basically a peer-to-peer file sharing system. It is distributed. Therefore, the problems that occur in centralized servers like high operation costs when you scale it and security factor that is there, then the risk of damaging physical hardware, the risk of having a single point of failure, all these problems will be solved by using IPFS. So to summarize, this is the workflow of our proposed model. First, the owner will upload his IP content and his own digital information digitally. This will be done simultaneously. The information will then be used to generate a signature which will be unique to the owner, and it will be timestamped as well. This and the IP content together, it will be put through a watermarking process. And finally, when we have the digitally watermarked content, we will hash it and put it in a transaction pool, which is basically a IP request registration pool. Now, validators will check this pool and using some predefined policies, they'll validate or invalidate requests. If validation is successful, then the content will be added to IPFS and its hash will be added to blockchain. And if not, the owner will be notified that his request was rejected. So our model addresses the loopholes and the limitations of previous models by providing a complete solution, that is by using consortium blockchain, proof of authority for consensus, digital watermarking and hash functions for authenticity of IP, and IPFS for storage and distribution of IP. So in conclusion, I would like to say that we have proposed a blockchain technology-based decentralized model to overcome the shortcomings that were present in the traditional model of IPR management. We believe that this method will help preserve and protect IP effectively and also aid in disputes industry today. And as future work, we aim at implementing this model and refining it to show that this can be an effective solution in the IPR management space. Thank you. If there are any questions, I would like to answer them.
Sir, before you raise the question, I would like to welcome our another session chair, Mahesh Bundole, sir.
Welcome, sir.
To this session, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, now you can raise your question if you have.
Okay. I have one query. Like as you said, you are putting some digital signatures over the document. So what algorithm you are using for digital signature?
So we haven't plugged any algorithm in our proposed model. It depends on the user who is implementing this model. They can choose any algorithms available. It's a generic model.
In your diagram, you showed that you are putting some signatures over the document. Then you are also using some cryptographic hashing techniques also.
Yes.
Have you identified
I
some
suppose
techniques?
the presenter should keep the camera on actually.
I think she told me that there is some issue in the network.
Okay.
So,
yes,
any cryptographic technique you are using for this hashing purpose?
So in the model we haven't specified, but as you said, for digital signature there are many techniques available like ECDSA.
And what actually will be the role of blockchain here in your watermarking and all these solutions?
The role of blockchain here is to provide a decentralized immutable ledger on where all IP requests will be registered, where we'll have a global IP database. So everyone in the world can access it, and to settle IP infringement disputes also, it will be better because this is a trusted system. Everyone has access to the system and it is a consistent database. So legal costs will reduce because of that.
Have you implemented the system as a whole, or is now you are going to implement?
So that is a part of our future work where we'll implement this model.
Okay, fine. Nice.
Thank you, sir.
It's okay. Let us have another. I think this is presented by
Vidhi Rambia.
Vidhi Rambia, sir.
Okay.
The second paper in the list.
Second paper. Okay.
Yes.
So now
Yes,
it is the third paper. First paper has been over already.
I
No,
think
no,
first.
no, sir. The first presentee was not there, but now she is here.
Okay. So a
So I
computer.
will announce her if you
Yeah.
are permit me, sir.
Yes. Yes. You can.
Okay. Sweta Singh, it's your turn.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Good morning, respected all the teachers, all the delegates, and all the research scholar. I am Shweta Singh from University of Allahabad, here to present my paper, that is a compact wideband patch antenna with defected ground for satellite communication.
I think you can make it full screen. Yes. Good. Good.
Uh, we know that during the last decade, the communication system has generated the demand of relatively inexpensive, commercially feasible, and two-dimensional geometrical antennas like macrostrip patch antenna. Various benefits are offered by patch antennas, such as reduced size and easy of manufacturing. Microstrip patch antenna is a best choice for the satellite, aircraft, spacecraft, and missiles application. These antenna but suffers from the some disadvantage like limited bandwidth and gain constraints. So the several feeding mechanisms are used, like pro feeding, macrostrip line feeding, are played their role to achieve their desired characteristics like gain, bandwidth, and return loss. And feeding techniques with using the different slots, slits, and notches either on the patch or on the ground are used to enhance the antenna gain and return loss as well as the bandwidth. In this sequence, stacking antenna or the multi-layer antenna come into the existence, which uh, supposed to give the best improvement in the gain and the bandwidth, and without compromising on the simplicity and the performance of the antenna as well. There are some um, antenna reported in the literature, like compact stack UWB patch antenna with defected ground for the KU and K band application in reference 4 here in my paper, for enhancing the gain and the bandwidth. Similarly, an ultra wideband L strip proximity coupled slot loaded micro strip patch antenna is reported in reference 5 for the bandwidth enhancement. Similarly, in reference 6, a triple band stack angular ring loaded stack antenna also reported here in my paper. Uh, and in this paper, I have designed the 3 antennas using the substrate FR4 and investigated the effect of changing the feeding over the similar type of antennas. And but while designing this antenna, we have designed the truncated ground structure, and it operates at the end of the X band and KU band partially. And my all design were performed and simulation and designing and simulation were performed on the NSoft software HFSS. Here, this is my antenna 1. Antenna 1, this is the patch of antenna 1, this is the ground. And in antenna 1 I have used the microstrip line feeding. This is the side view of my antenna 1. Here is this is the radiating patch, this is the height of the substrate, and this is the ground. This is the microstrip line feeding. And similar antenna I have used by using the coaxial feeding, and this is the side view of the same antenna. This is the radiating patch, substrate, ground, and with the height of antenna H. But in stacking, this is the patch 1 or the upper patch, this is the lower patch, and this is the ground state. It is the 3D view of my stacking patch antenna. The side view can be understood by this simple formula, that is the top patch, and this is the bottom patch. And you can see from the diagram that the top patch and bottom patch share the same specifications, and the ground, this is the ground has the circular ring in between, and truncated ground structure is shown here in this diagram. This is the height h1 and height h1 in substrate, both the substrate, but there is a substrate, there is a height, there is effect of different dielectric medium, that is the air of 1 millimeter gap.
Sorry for the interruption, Sweta ma'am. But you have last 2 minutes to conclude your presentation.
2 minutes?
Yes, you have last 2 minutes.
Okay. This is the proposed specification of my antenna configuration. That is, this is a total proposed different parametric analysis of circular ring, truncated ground, and all this performed. And this is.
I think you can go to the results what you have obtained and that conclusion.
Okay. In a result, by using, this is my probe feeding, probe feeding, this is my macro strip line feeding, and this is stacking. And we can see from the gain graph and the return loss that the both are both increased by using the stacking. And you can see there is a ringing effect also in the antenna 2 and antenna 3. In antenna 2, antenna 3, that it is increasing the gain in the first half cycle, but decreasing the gain in the second half cycle of the same operating band in the return loss by 11.25 to 12.82 gigahertz. This is the table from which we can understand that the peak gain of antenna 1 is 7.5, and it is increased by using the stacking feed antenna 8.83. Similarly, the bandwidth and the impedance bandwidth here, which is increased in antenna 2. This is the surface current distribution. This upper portion shows the current surface distribution of lower patch. This is the for the upper patch. For the lower patch, its value is 26.8 ampere per meter at 11.5 gigahertz, and it is 39.7 ampere per meter at 12.4 gigahertz. Similarly, the current distribution value here, 54.6 ampere per meter at 11.5 and 34.5 ampere per meter at 12.4 gigahertz. So we see that the current has increased in upper patch, and the resultant current is higher in value respective of the lower patch. This is the VSWR for the same operating band 11.25 to 12.82, and the value is below 2 for the entire operating band. Similarly, the group delay, the time domain analysis is between the -1 to 1 nanosecond, which shows the distortion-less propagation in the signals. This is the radiation pattern of and proposed antenna 3. This is for the 11.5 and this is for the 12.4 gigahertz. And we can see from the radiation pattern that it is almost the same in E plane and H plane. The radiation efficiency is almost the 70% for the total operating band, and the input impedance, which should be equal to 50 ohm, but it can be plus 20 or minus 20 in value, is acceptable for the microstrip patch antenna. Here you can see that the lower limit of the input impedance in the operating band lies between the 32 to 80, which shows that the location which we are using for the stacking feeding is is in comfortable zone to transfer the almost total energy from input to the radiating patch antenna. Here I am with my conclusion that using macro step feed line, probe feeding or stacking, the highest gain and bandwidth were noticed using the probe feed stacking among all three antennas in HFS simulation. And we can safely conclude that stacking improves the gain as well as the bandwidth. However, in many literature or Balanis or many books have also described that on increasing the height, it can increase the bandwidth and the gain, but it will also increase the surface wave, which is not desired in the macro strip feed lighting. So increasing the height up to a certain limit can increase the characteristics of antenna like bandwidth or gain. And here my antenna is useful for the X band and partially in KU band. This is my references which I have gone through for my paper, and Balani's antenna theory, which I have get the idea to design my this is using antenna to investigate that really it works or not. And here I am with my presentation. Thank you.
It's very good. Your presentation was nice. So can you tell me two things? One, what were the research gaps already there in your whatever literature review you have gone through?
So literature using, first of all, I have gone through the Balani's book, where I have get the idea that the effect of the different feeding, what is resultant on the return loss and the bandwidth. First of all, I have gone dependently main the idea I have gone to design my paper from the Balanis. Then the some people who have designed the UWB patch antennas using stacking, they were the key point to design such antenna that I can show a result that can be stacking can be used in such a way that in any design almost by using a certain height, the gain and bandwidth can be increased.
Okay, and have you also compared your results with the existing outcomes of the other researchers?
Sir, I have not compared my result with the others that
Because
they
you
have.
have shown only your results, no
Yes,
comparisons. So how
of
can we
course.
justify that your research is better than the existing or other researchers?
No, sir, it is not point that my research is
At
good
least it
for.
should be comparable to others, like what others are doing. Maybe they are
Yes,
doing better than us, or maybe they are doing like not better than us, but there must be some comparison so that we can justify that research is useful.
yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
do this also in the next paper.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Kundale sir.
Yeah, I'll ask one short question. You have not given any reason for your results. You said that there is an increase in gain in one half cycle and reduction in other half cycle. Why so?
Yes, sir.
Maybe you can
You
improve
can
this.
Yes, sir. You can see that here when this is the bandwidth of my and proposed antenna 3. This is, you can see that one circle is one half cycle. You can see here that it is in ringing effect. Due to this ringing effect, it should be lower, but due to this ringing kind of ringing kind of band, this gain is increasing and here decreasing in half cycle. It may be some mechanism can be maybe I need to go in more detail for the inductance.
Yes, that's what I want to. I want you to go in depth.
Yes, yes,
and analyze what is the reason.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, sir.
thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So next.
Yes, fine. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, madam, we can ask the next paper
Next,
to come. Okay, let me call that Mr. Ashish Tamanna. He will present thermal image processing and analysis of surveillance UAVs.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
there? Yeah.
Yes.
Ashish, please come.
Uh,
Can she stop sharing the screen, please?
Sweta ji,
Yes, ma'am.
please stop your screen
Okay.
sharing so other participant can start the presentation.
Yes. Yes, good morning to everyone present here. I'm Ashish and I'll be presenting the paper titled Thermal Image Processing and Analysis for Surveillance UAVs. So this was our team composition and these were the two guides who helped us work on this paper. Coming to today's agenda, here I've briefly described it. Introduction. So our main aim was to tackle fire hazards and identify victims who are trapped in fire hazards. So it is a fact that people have as less as 6 minutes when they are contained in such environments with very less oxygen. And considering the excessive heat and their health conditions, it's of utmost important to rescue them as soon as possible. And this is a very true scenario because, as you know, in the recent California wildfires also there are it is the largest recorded year where they have the maximum number of wildfires. So it is not only important for the victim, but also it is dangerous for the firefighters who are going to rescue these victims. So our idea here was to use some surveillance kind of thing to in order to detect the human beings who are trapped in fire. So our main problem statement was saving time in searching the victims because it's of utmost importance. And in this paper, we are going to concentrate about processing and enhancing thermal videos for the surveillance UAVs. So this was initially our proposed project, which we took up. But then for this paper, we particularly reduced our research to image processing, as I already mentioned. So we have worked on thermal video processing for this paper. Coming to literature survey, what we have done is we have compared two existing models, which are HOG and YOLO for thermal videos, which is not exactly researched much.
Yeah.
So for normal videos, this comparison has been done, but for thermal videos, we couldn't find much sources. So we thought, let's pick it up and why not work on this. So the first part would be histogram of oriented gradients, which is also known as HOG. So it is a feature descriptor which extracts only the useful
other
information
participants
from the
can
image.
mute their mics. There's a disturbance coming.
Yeah. So this extracts only the useful information from the images and calculates gradients and generates histograms for them. So feature descriptor is nothing but the representation of the image containing only the key aspects. The key aspects here mean the edge information in the image, which is of utmost importance. Then we calculate the gradients for this, which is nothing but the directions of the gradients. Like it's basically the magnitude and the direction of every pixel. Then finally, we generate histogram of oriented gradients using the steps mentioned below. So first part is pre-processing, where we take an image segment and then we do particular pre-processing for it. Then we calculate the gradients on it, and after that obtain the histogram. Finally, we do block normalization. Block normalization is done to remove the disparities which occur due to lighting. And finally, we calculate the feature vector. So the concatenation of all the feature vectors gives us the HOG feature vector. The next part was the YOLO, you only look once. So YOLO is basically a convolutional neural network which is used to detect humans. So in this algorithm, we split the input image into multiple grids, and we use bounding boxes to predict them. So here I've briefly listed the steps which are used for the YOLO object detection. So in YOLO, we have block normalization, and the steps include basic pre-processing and then obtaining region of interest and probability evaluation. So in the region of interest, we use a sliding window across the input image and pass it to an object detector to detect the human subjects for us. So for this analysis, we were short of data sets. So after thorough research, we found one public online data set, which is OTC BVS benchmark data set, which was shot during a massive Oakland fire. So here, this is publicly available, and we used, under this data set, there were multiple collections, and we used particular scenarios from it for our analysis. So here you can see the images from our data set, where the left side images include scene 1 and right side images include scene 2. Coming to methodology, we implemented 3 particular methodologies. First one was fire detection using thermal video. Then we implemented YOLO and HOG as discussed previously. For fire detection using thermal video, we used the basic concepts of thresholding and Gaussian blur and other OpenCV available packages. So this was this video which are going, which I mean, we used for this fire detection was shot by DJI drone from Almanda County Sheriff. So it was during a massive fire. So here I have briefly described the steps which we followed for the detection of fire, where we do basic morphological operations, then thresholding, dilation, erosion, and finally contour detection to identify fire hotspots. Next algorithm which we implemented was the YOLO algorithm. So this is a real life object detection algorithm, as I already discussed. And here we'll be using a single neural network. The process which we followed here was, since we obtained the data set, we had to manually annotate the images for detecting humans. So for this, we used a software known as VOTT. And once we used this to train the data set with, I mean, train the algorithm with our data set, then we tested it on other similar scenarios. Here I've again briefly listed the steps which we followed for the YOLO object detection. So we load the image, construct blob, use bounding boxes, and predict the human subjects. The next one is human detection using HOG algorithm. So as I mentioned, again, this is a feature descriptor, and we split the input image into multiple smaller regions and calculate gradients. Finally, we obtain the descriptor and try to identify the subjects. So here also we follow a similar step where we obtain the data set, annotate manually, train it, and then test it using similar data sets. These are the brief steps involved. We initiate the HOG descriptor, set the SVM detector, read the input video frame by frame, and then using the detector, we try to detect humans. So before starting off this entire project, since we were working with surveillance UAVs, we thought it's better to go dig deep and understand how drones work. So we went over with building our own drone to understand how it works and what is the logic behind the circuitry and
Sorry
other
for the
things.
interruption, sir, but you have last 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. So coming to the results. So as I mentioned, the first fire detection algorithm, on the left side, you can see the DJI drone shot video where we have put bounding boxes around the hotspots. On the right side, it is the intermediate steps which were followed, where we have done binary thresholding, then grayscaling, and then you can see in the middle region where we have separated the hotspots from the original image. Here you can, on the screen, you can see the YOLO output which we used for the training, and then this was the data set which was used for testing. Here you can see the HOG output where we are able to identify the human subjects. So coming to the comparison between both of them, as we know, both have proven to be efficient for human and object detection for normal videos. Our case here was completely limited to thermal videos. So from our observation, we could see that when there were more subjects in the image, the efficiency or accuracy reduced in the detections, which you will further find in the next slides. So here we have a graph of the elapsed time per frame for the HOG algorithm. On the left side, you see it for the i7 processor. On the right side, you can see it for the i5 processor. The average time per frame was around 0.18 seconds. The same scenario for YOLO. Here we have identical i7 and i5 processor and elapsed time per frame. And here the average time was around 1.5 seconds. Here we have a tabulated result where we are showing the comparison based on two metrics which we consider. One was accuracy and other was the speed. So we did it for two scenarios, and you can see that YOLO was definitely much more accurate compared to HOG, but the catch is that YOLO is much slower compared to HOG. So here we have a comparison of YOLO versus HOG for both the processors, i7 and i5 processor. We can clearly see that HOG implementation was much faster than the YOLO. So as I mentioned already, we can observe that HOG is faster. So in conclusion, we would like to say that after thorough research of the implementation, HOG algorithm proved to be significantly faster for thermal videos, but the detection rate wasn't much far, even though YOLO was much better. So in the future works, we would like to work on the model's performance and train it with multiple other data sets. We would like to explore more recent localization models like YOLO v3. Then designing a drone which is capable of resisting all these fires and then using it to like do these detections would be one of the key things we are working on. Then possibly we could use some fire extinguisher mechanism for small scenarios. So here are the list of references we have followed. Thank you.
You have done really very nice work and very nice presentation as well.
Thank you, sir.
So congratulations for that.
Yes.
What are the limitations in your own opinion, and what are the future scopes for this paper?
Sir, coming to the limitations, sir, as you're aware, scenarios of video footages where people are trapped during fire, that is extremely hard to obtain. So working on that and getting data sets for that and researching on that only was the hardest part. That is the reason we had to split up into identifying humans from thermal videos and fire from thermal videos separately. We couldn't really get data sets. So that is one key thing which we would look about to research more and better. And another thing is we were really limited to training with one or two data sets. So training this algorithm with thousands of data sets would definitely increase a lot of performance, and then I think we would be able to identify humans better.
Good, good. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
How did you define accuracy?
Sir, accuracy, what we have done here is we have obtained probabilities for the humans on each slide. So what we are doing is we are taking the input video slide by slide, trying to run it through the algorithm, predict the humans in the algorithm, and we are getting percentages by how accurate is it or how similar it is to the trained data set. Once we obtain these percentages, what we are doing is we are taking an average across all the slides from the input, this thing, frame by frame. That's how we are calculating the accuracy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your presentation.
Next.
Next is Chandrasekhar.
Yes.
Yes, madam. I'm on the line. Shall I share the slides, madam?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah. Yes. Is it visible, madam?
Not
No.
yet.
It's coming now. Yeah.
No, madam.
Make it full.
Coming, sir.
Full screen. Yes. Now.
Yes, sir. Shall I continue, sir?
Yes. Yes.
Hello, oh, thank you, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, one and all who are joining this presentation. So myself, Chandrasekhar DK, research scholar, Department of CSE, Jaipur, Bangalore. I'm doing my research topic on MapReduce-based sentiment analysis of tweets using machine learning techniques. So these are the topics I'm going to cover: the introduction, literature survey, problem definition, methodology, and results, and publication and references. So the tweets, as we know, tweets are mini paragraphs written on the online platform named as a Twitter, which is expressed varied amount of mood information that give the Twitter, what is the outcome of the Twitter? It gives the people how they are going to like, whether they get a positive or they like a negative or the neutral on might be any products or any reviews or any movies at all. But sentiment analysis is automated process of analyzing the text and sorting it into sentiment if positive, as I told. So it is might be negative, positive, or neural. Using machine learning algorithms that you are finding the Twitter data, machine learning algorithms, just finding what we can call the positive and negative, thinking on the people how they are going to like the product or any movies at all. Then sentimental, but doing that before applying that machine learning algorithms, just we need to apply that pre-processing, that natural language processing, to make sense of that human language and machine learning algorithms to automatically deliver to accurate results or to desired result, to make a pre-processing before applying the machine learning algorithms. So just we have a literature survey this a sentiment behavioral model. They're using the naive bias and fuzzy logic algorithms to find out the sentiment analysis. In the second, there were proposed a three-way sentimental classification model. Sharing the data online has become a common practice for many people and has created online social networks. The third one, they divide and conquer PC and divide and conquer linear discrete analysis. The concept they've used to find out the sentiment analysis for an everyday, which is generated the data from the social media platform. So just only the three reference literature survey put. So this is a problem statement what we have, that considered the Twitter data sets which is available in the internet sources, though which has a process to extract the sentiment analysis that we have represented as T1 to Tn, where T1 to Tn are required tweets for analysis. The main objective of this work is to find the sentiment of tweets, whether whether it is a positive, negative, or neutral. This is done by taking the raw tweets, processing, and then applying machine learning models. Why we are going, just we're introducing MapReduce based algorithms. So the same data sets we have run in the local machine, it takes a lot of time. When whatever the same data sets that we run in the MapReduce,
You are not audible.
using the PySpark packages that we have written a code in MapReduce. That too, in the MapReduce, all the mappers are working in a parallel. So the reducer will combine and will reduce, give the output. So that's what now models using MapReduce based algorithms in cloud-based big data environment. So in the system model of sentiment analysis, so we have considered as a Twitter datasets, tweets tokenizer. So it's going to give the tokenized, means the words or the sentences are divided into each word. So stop word removal, in the given the word, if in the between that word is and these kind of will be removed. Stemmer. So here this is going to avoid the words which are giving the same meaning. Suppose like, fine, looking good. So good, fine. These kind of words are considered as a single word. Term frequency, just count how many terms are there, how many keywords are there in the given data sets. Word embedding, that is also given the same meaning for the different words. So pre-processed machine learning algorithms, applying the machine learning algorithms. Finally, we are sending that sentiment analysis. That finding, once you find the sentiment, then sentiment analysis. So this is what the MapReduce based pre-processing is running. So MapReduce based pre-processing, initially you consider the Twitter datasets. From that, each mapper is going to whatever the pre-processing technique, all mappers are working in parallel. So in Excel sheet, each attribute or each in a Twitter set, each data will working in a parallel and does that pre-processing in a mapper, and reducer will combine the output from the each mapper, and reducers will combine in the Excel sheet. Then what that MapReduce based decision tree. So here one machine learning algorithm that we used here from the reducer part. So mappers, whatever all the mappers is going to identify to gain value for each and every attribute in the which are in the Excel sheet. So whatever the attributes are there, and what is the highest gain, that reducer part will consider what is the which attribute has got a highest gain value to become a root node, to form a tree in the decision tree. Which mapper or which attribute has got highest gain, that will be considered as a root. Again will be split up to left node and right node. Again left node will consider, again will do the repeat the process. So like that, the mapper how it does instead of in local machine. So when we are doing that sequentially one by one, it takes a lot of time. So here what it does, for all the attributes, we need to find out its gain value for all the attributes which are there in the input. So in MapReduce, in a second, fraction of seconds, or in a fraction of minute, it does all the attributes is in mapper gain value. So reducer, it combines that output of the mapper and check which mapper has got a highest value, that will be considered as a root. So until so there is no more trees will be no more leaf node has been generated, till we'll continue the process. Sorry. Then after forming that MapReduce based decision tree, so it finding that computing accuracy, FN and ROC the measures. So then finally the sentiments will be generated. So here we are finding comparison of the different machine learning algorithms. All these machine learning algorithms we have written in MapReduce. Out of that, which one is the best accuracy, we are going to find out. So these are normal data set. Normal data sets we have taken, that is outlook, temperature, humidity, wind, and target. From this, that art and our overcast and rain on the day. This is the climate of the particular day. If his target is yes, so we have enjoyed the game. If target is no, that we have not enjoyed the game. So this is what the data sets we have. So here just we got a tree. After doing this map reduce, the final tree. So look, there is entropy. If we need to find out the information and gain the entropy of each attribute and entropy of overall data sets, and again gain of each attribute and gain of overall data set. So when you solve one by one, then we'll get to know which attribute has formed as a root and which attribute you formed as a left child and right child towards to the towards to the next step. This is the final decision tree that we got generated. So here we got a written map reduced functioning algorithm. So for initially
you have last 2
Hello?
minutes to conclude your presentation. Please try to conclude it on
Sorry?
time. Am I audible, sir?
Madam, tell me, madam.
You have
Yes.
last 2 minutes
Let's
to conclude.
Okay.
You can go to the results and conclusion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So this is the algorithm. So this is the results. ROC score, accuracy, and F1 score. We have compared with the 4 algorithms: logistic regression, navy bias, and support vector machines, and random forest. Out of these 4, the accuracy has got very good accuracy with the logistic regression that we have run in the MapReduce algorithm. So this is the in the same values that we have shown in the graph. So again, the runtime comparison different algorithms for MapReduce framework. So normal framework 3.5, the time, whatever the time it is taken. The previous slide is accuracy. This is very support vector machine has got a less time when compared to the other 3 algorithms. So this is the graph I shown for the time taken and the conclusion. So here, so this is we have taken the MapReduce support vector machine and logistic regression having highest accuracy of almost 95%, and that other algorithms have taken a lot of time and got accuracy is very less. So here accuracy of both the negative and positive words in a single tweet, or there is an occurrence of the sarcasm in the tweets. So these are all the references I have taken, and thank you, sir.
Okay.
Very nice presentation.
Thank
So
you, sir.
I see here as a co-author Dr. Venugopal KR.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is he your guide in the PhD?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, he's the vice chancellor of the Bangalore University.
Yeah. Oh, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Convey him my regards. He's my teacher also.
Right, sir. Right.
You can tell him. So
Thank you.
presentation was nice. Like Bhujale sir, if you want to ask something.
Yes. So what is your contribution here? There are already so many frameworks and the for sentiment analysis. What you have originally developed here, something new?
Sir, it's not audible, sir.
Hello, am I not audible? Hello?
Sir, it's not audible, sir. Can you repeat the question, sir?
Sir is telling there are so many different algorithms for sentimental analysis. So what is your contribution like what you have modified over those algorithms?
Sir, no, sir, I'm not.
You couldn't get it? Hello?
Sir, that's what, sir. But whatever all these algorithms have run in some Python language in local machine, all these algorithms have written a code in a MapReduce. So when you have written a code in a MapReduce, so it works in a parallel. When it is working in a parallel, it takes a very less time to execute the whatever, whether it is a 1 GB of data, 2 GB of
so
data.
you are just comparing the existing algorithm performance on 2 different frameworks, no?
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. Comparing all these 4 algorithms that have written MapReduce, when compared to the MapReduce algorithm, the support vector machine have got a good accuracy and it has taken very less time to get the results.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All the best.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So next is Srikant M. Prabhu. The title is Transforming India's Social Sector Using Ontology-Based Tantra Framework.
I think the participant has to stop sharing, then I can share my screen.
Yes. You can make it full screen.
Yeah, it's full screen now.
Okay.
So I and Dr. Natarajan who is my co-author. Professor Natarajan also is in the session. So we are going to talk about using Tantra framework, which I developed as a part of my research work, to apply to a particular scenario. So basically, I mean, the Tantra framework is an information management framework which tries to look at governance information, which is of interest to government, in put all that information in one framework and use it for multiple purposes. And in this particular paper, I have focused my work on a new scheme called Flexible Social Benefit Plan. So overall, the idea is that in India, we can't progress beyond a point unless we do away with the subsidy regiment. So a lot of issues because of mispricing will blocking our economic progress. So that's what economists have been telling for long. And one particular very complex scenario is in the agricultural sector, which is also of lot in news nowadays because of farmers' protests. So mainly, how can we, come up with a different alternative? So government has to buy a lot of food grains because it has to provide through public distribution system. Now the question is, can we have a different system instead of having large number of subsidies, whether it may be related to electricity or railways or any kind of subsidy? Can we have one system which can unify all this and give it to people in a flexible manner? So obviously there has been talk about a universal basic income scheme. Instead of subsidies, each family gets some money, but that also has not got too much traction. It has its own complexities. So instead of the existing scheme or going completely doing away with the subsidies, I am proposing a flexible benefit plan. So the idea of flexible benefit plan is that say for example, each family is given some 1,000 benefit points, then they can use it flexibly across whatever they need. Somebody wants to buy, say no longer needs food subsidy, may use it for school vouchers. Somebody else may use for railways, or some other person may use it for completely different purpose. So it is almost like the flexible benefit package which companies use for distributing perks. So similar idea I have tried to use and come up with this scheme like that, and written certain articles. So now I'm trying to link the research with this approach. So the main issue whenever you try to do change is that society has to accept it. So for that I researched quite a lot of change theories, right? So these are some of the theories I looked at, like logic model, logical framework, then backcasting and critical theory and all that. So each of this topic is, each of this theory is a topic in itself. So I won't go through all these details, but I will call out critical theory, which says that once you get used to some ideology, it is as good as you get enslaved by it. The other thing which I want to show is a logic model. So a lot of times we focus only on output and outlay, but not outcomes. So here, if you look at the model, you logically analyze the scenario completely and see, are the outputs leading to outcomes? Then I looked at another theory called theory of change. What the idea here is that many times we don't think through. Government just announce policies without completely thinking through whether it will work. Many times they know that it doesn't work, still they introduce. So somebody came up with a framework called theory of change, where I cover it at a detail, where you look at all aspects starting from assumptions, inputs, intermediate variables. Is everything there in place for change to happen? So that kind of analysis, comprehensive analysis, you can do on day one. Many times we don't do that, and then we just discover. Like for example, defense liberalization. People knew beforehand that Just giving 49% will not work. Still they will announce it. After a year they realize it won't work. So some of those things can be avoided by doing a formal analysis. Then I came to do the proper thing. We need a lot of information and we have to look at all kinds of dimensions. That's where the Tantra framework comes in. So here what we do is we cover, look at the society and model it using ontology and try to capture every aspect social information in this particular framework. So for example, beneficiaries are covered using a who dimension, then where they reside using where dimension, and then any particular process like a PDS will come under how. Like this,
Shrikant sir.
we model the complete.
Shrikant
Yeah.
sir, sorry for the
Yeah.
interruption, sir, but you have last 2 minutes. Please try to
Sure,
conclude your presentation in this time.
Okay. And any government department is modeled as a relator. Any gap where somebody does not have a particular benefit or is all modeled in a separation. So the same thing is um, uh, um, presented as a good governance framework. So you realize what are going to be your goals, then you decide what should be the intervention. Like flexible social benefit plan is the intervention I propose. PDS was a intervention long back it was there. Agricultural, tax free system was an intervention much earlier. So you have to keep on reassessing the interventions based on what are the real current separation. For all this, you need information. So this is broadly the approach which we are looking at. And then I did some analysis on what is the percentage of GDP subsidies are consuming. And then we looked at flexible social benefit plan. And then we make use of theory of change framework. I'll just look at it here. So this is what is a theory of change framework, where you set the summary statement, define problem statement, identify the change process, look at what are the theories, what are the inputs, what are the assumptions, who are the actors. You do a really elaborate analysis. I mean, this is not very new. This is somewhat old, but I found even after analyzing recent theories, this is still very good framework, right? And finally, there are things called knock-on effects. Like for example, demonetization, a positive knock-on effect was the digital economy, which was not conceived in the beginning. So like this is a very elaborate way to analyze any change. And my framework provides that information layer where we can say which citizen in which locality needs what kind of benefit. And we can unify all benefits of all states and center, right, using this scheme. So I presented this to Ministry of IT, and I'm also waiting for an appointment with the National Informatics Center also. So this is broadly the thing, and it also is having a contemporary relevance because of all this farmer struggle. So the conclusion is essentially, coming up, making use of a framework to have a using the power of information, give that flexibility to government to try out various societies and doing a proper theoretical analysis in the beginning itself. So this is broadly the thing, and all of this can be contextualized in a digital governance framework. So I think in the limited time, I could cover only this much. If you have any questions, I can address.
Yes, your idea is good, but we recognize subsidy. The poor part of it or pity part of it is that the recognition impact is to the subsidy rather than giving some points and then giving flexibility. That is there. So awareness and the importance of such things is missing in the society, that is grossly in
True,
the
sir.
country. So I think the idea is good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Professor Vijay, if you want to comment anything.
Also, it's very nice idea. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you for your presentation, sir.
Stop sharing.
Yes.
yeah. Next is Snappy wheelchair by Gunjan Roy.
Is Gunjan there?
No, sir. Gunjan is not
Tajim
there, but
Mohammed
Tajim,
Muhammad.
yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Tajim is here.
Rajim Mohammed.
I'm
Okay.
unmuting him.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Can hear you.
Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Make
visible.
it full screen.
Okay, thank you.
Now it's okay.
Okay, today I am presenting my paper, Snappy Wheelchair, an IoT-based flex control robotic wheelchair for disabled person. And I am presenting and
Tajim,
this,
sir, before you start the presentation, I would like to announce that you have just 5 minutes to complete your presentation because we have such a time limitation for
okay,
end of the
it's
session.
supposed to
So
be,
you can just talk about objective, then algorithm, and results and conclusion.
okay. So the summary is to make a wheelchair for disabled person. The objective is helping physically challenged people with low-cost robotic wheelchair, controlling the wheelchair for 360-degree movements with 2 fingers by flex sensor and joystick. And here is the algorithm. This robotic wheelchair is not only controlled by flex sensor but also with joystick. That's why our algorithm has 2 parts. One is for flex sensor, another is for the joystick control, and we have made it with 2 fingers. That's why in 1 finger we have made backward right and backward left, and another finger we have made left forward, uh, right forward and forward mode, and also with the joystick mode. And we have also added a button to maintain the joystick and button mode. And here is the flowchart of this system. One is for joystick control and another is for the flex sensor controlled. And this one is much complex because lots of work has been here, and we have made 2 parts of this, and this is a Arduino based work. That's why we can make it in a low cost model. And with flex sensor we have made 6 modes, which one is for forward, backward, left and right. And with also the joystick control movement, we have also make it 360-degree movement. And here is the simple circuit diagram of the system. We have used relay module for the motors of the wheelchair, and a joystick and 2 flex sensor, and also 2 switches for moving from one mode to another mode. And finally we have run it successfully, and we have worked with this wheelchair for last 1 year. And now this can carry up to 130 kg people. With joystick controller, Snappy wheelchair will move 360-degree, controlled by 2 fingers by flex sensor, and wheelchair also can move 360-degree, and forward backward going process shifting by button flex sensor work successfully. And changing controlling mode from joystick to flex sensor is also worked successfully. And here is the final prototype, and we have made this, and people can also run it in a road. And here you can see the flex sensor is connected with hand gloves, and any disabled person who can only move his or her 2 fingers, he or she can control the wheelchair and move to go from anywhere. And here is a small video of output I can show. This one is my student is helping me. So this one is flex controlled mode, and this one is flex control mode. He is going backward, then he will change the mode, and he will go forward and come to right. Okay, so this one is output of the system, and the wheelchair is also made with a very small cost, and after implementation we have tested it for more than 1,000 times. When we have checked for joystick, it have shown us 91% accuracy. We have tested 1,000 times, more than 1,000 times, where in 91% time it go rightly. And for flex sensor, it has shown more accuracy, like 93%. And when we have power shifting or power switch, it has worked 99% successfully. And implementation mode controlling switch also worked 99%. And implementation of flex sensor mode controlling also worked 98%. And cost effectiveness, we
Sajid
have.
sir, you are taking too much of.
Yes, you can conclude now.
Okay, sir. I have just a little things raised. If we can buy a wheelchair like this, we need to pay around 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs, but our wheelchair is only 20,000 BDT. And there are some limitations also. Fully paralyzed people can use this a bit costly than a normal manual wheelchair, need to recharge the battery. And this is not a lightweight wheelchair also. And here are some future works. We have planned to use GPS with the wheelchair, and also we have planned to use EMG sensor by which we can use muscle controlling, and any people can control the wheelchair with his muscle uh, uh, response. We are planning on that. So
Yeah,
that's, thank you.
it's a good project and a good innovation you have presented. And what are you talking about only the cost which you could reduce if you compare with other researchers who have contributed
Yes.
towards wheelchair?
Yes, sir. I have said that at present in market, which wheelchairs are available in Bangladesh, in my country, they are around, this type of automated wheelchairs are around cost from 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs, where our wheelchair is only cost 20,000 to 30,000. That is a very low cost.
Okay. Okay, I think. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your presentation, sir. Our
Am I audible? Am I audible?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I have one query. Like you, as you told that you have tested this machine for more than 1,000 people. So worth of 1,000 time or 1,000 people?
Not 1,000 people. I have tested with my 3 students, and for more than 1,000 times. For
And out of those 3 students, were any students there at like physically disabled? Like,
no, sir, they were not physically disabled, but they have tested with some of their disabled uh, parents or neighbors who are some have their not have their legs, or some problems have their hands also.
like I just want to know whether the person is able to properly sit over the particular seat, or you properly sit or properly manage the chair. So the actual person who is physically handicapped, that only gives the better answer.
Yes, sir, I have also tested with someone.
Fine. So have you made any sampling for those 1,000 times experiments?
No, sir. Just we have the data. It is not analyzed very good way till now.
Because I think if you make the good analysis, because 1,000 is a very big number when we test a particular chair. If you do around 100 to 200 experiments itself, but properly with all types of people, like there must be some normal people, there must be some handicapped, there must be some especially abled, so that we can get the actual idea whether it is going to be feasible or not for the handicapped people. So
Yes, sir.
you just,
Working on this, and we have a long idea to implement with this one.
I think you'll come with some different results when you test with the really handicapped people, and it's a very nice solution for the society also. I think we should encourage this type of research only, which can help the society in a better way. So congratulations for your work, and we wish that you make it much better in future.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, madam.
Yeah. So
Thank you for your presentation.
next is Kamathi.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Sir, I'm audible. Okay, all right. So that's visible, sir?
No.
Yes. Your screen is not visible. You are visible.
Oh, okay. One second. Yeah, sharing the screen, right?
Okay, madam.
Okay, sir. I think now it is coming up.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Make it full screen.
Yeah, sir. Sir.
Pomji madam, before you start the presentation, you have
Yes,
only
ma'am.
5 minutes for the presentation.
How come? Okay.
Conclude it
Just
on
okay.
time.
I will reduce my talk. So the topic, what I've chosen today for the presentation is machine learning to detect the toxicity of web textual contents against gender-based cyber offenses. Myself, Dr. Gomati from Academy of Maritime Education and Training, deemed to be University in Chennai. The objective is to design a machine learning model that detects the probability of toxicity, but as a proactive measure to alarm the girl children, especially so that the cyber offenses may get averted. That is our ultimate purpose. This is a part of my actually project, research project and study from National Commission for Women. This is just one part of it, and I've not got this thing, so I'm just presenting it. So I just tell you the motivation. This is more important. Why I'm going for this toxicity of websites, especially textual contents, because we know that the children are affected, by mostly online and cyber pornographers, etc. So a research study is required to assess the modality and patterns of cyber stacking. Cyber stacking is finding their personal data and somehow lure the children and make them into offenses later. So UNICEF and UNESCO, as per their report, they are recommending that the individual nation should be able to take the necessary strategies to protect the children. So, and National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB, also shows that cyber stacking of women and children are increasing year by year, and FBI statistics show that the children are kidnapped. The kidnapping, the root cause, if they are looking into it, it is from the cyber sites only. Cyber stacking and cyber, so bullying. So need of the hour, a dynamic and automatic monitoring and prediction tool is required for 24/7 policing the websites against the above offenses. Though the barriers are freedom of speech and expression and jurisdiction beyond the geographical boundaries, but we need to do it. So as a first step, as a part of the project, we have done it. So it is on the very pre-stage. So I'm just giving my report on that. So I'll just omit the related. So this is my the empirical model to assess the toxicity of web content. So first level is extraction of textual contents from web pages. Here my thing is, so far everybody were using a CNN method, but I'm using a LSTM, that is a long short-term memory algorithm, which is I made some changes in the page segmentation, etc. Normally LSTM is used with OSD pattern. For page segmentation, we have used different modes, and finally we found that no OSD was giving a better performance. So once the text is, the screen reader from the website has been given here, and the textual output is coming. So this goes like this. The output looks like this. So it is a web page content along with the, need not be only the content, it will be along with the images too. Images will be neglected and ignored, and only the textual contents will be extracted from that. So LSTM was used as for normally CNN, convolutional neural network will be used, but we have used the LSTM to find out how best it can work. And this is what the two are compared. And LSTM is almost coming in with the CNN with the modification of OSD. And the text classification, the NLP algorithms, linear SVC was used along with the logistic regression. So features were extracted, features were labeled, and with the training set of 160,000 literal comments, that is the comments have been in this way. Okay, so toxic, these are the classes are the labels which have been placed on the data. Toxic comments and severe toxic obscenity, and with a threat and insult and identity hate. These are the different labels we have used it, and the data trained for different classes. This is where the problem is. Single class is giving, but it is not able to go beyond 95 or 99 because of multiple classes. Say single class, say for example, I'll show you the output. Say, for example, I'm just, if the comment is I'm a good person, this is a single class, but I'm rude with you, single class. Sorry with hurting you, single class. But when I'm saying this particular, you are a jerk, it may come under different classes. It may be insulting, it may be obscenity, it may be a toxic. So under that category, the multiple classes. So that's why, I mean, this particular, when I say class 1, it is 87% is class 1, that 13% is other classes. So that's why the accuracy, everything comes down. So we are working on it to improve this, thing. So on Lively, we have tested it, and it is showing like, this is a live, a very obscene website where we found that obscenity is 30%, threatening is 7%, insulting is 27%. So this will be a proactive measure when the children are using this particular tool. When they type in or when they start downloading, immediately this will be at the background. This 24/7 policing tool will be there as part of the the web browser, and will be able to immediately alarm the children or alarm anybody who access the site that this is a category. So immediately they can come out based on that. So this is not nice. If the normal content is beyond 75% or 80%, then they can go into it. Otherwise it's a waste of time, or it is just somewhat it has been not good to visit that. So the children can come out. So this is how the conclusion is. Normally convolutional neural networks is used for extracting the textual contents from the images. They have used LSTM first time, and LSTM is already known algorithm. Only we have modified the segmentation mode, and we see that a lot of improvements were there. Better text was been more than 95% accuracy was able to get it. And linear support vector machine and logistic regression were able to give the prediction and classification. Thank you. So the multi-class still we are going on the multi-class to improve the multi-class classification. We are not able to get satisfied still then, but the tool has been tested. It is good. Thank you, sir. Any questions? Yeah.
It's a good idea, good project. And
sir, nobody has started. That's why the related works are very less, sir, in this area. Okay. Everybody was taking the content, filtration, etc., through, physical, and then they are applying, restriction to the schools and etc. Even Japanese, everybody started doing, but relatively a machine learning tool was not done. Okay.
So did you test it some online?
Yes, sir. That's what I said. No, yeah, I tested many sites. This is one example where the complete content in black and white, right? It is a filthy comment. So I'm just able to. So this is what the multi-class. It is not a single class. It will go. Toxic means okay, it's a toxic. But threatening, as it insulting, or that is where we have stuck up, and we are going on with that, sir. Our own algorithm is still getting, because it comes under NCW, so I'm not supposed to open up now without their consent.
Okay, good. Thank you. It's good work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's a very nice work, nice presentation, and nice issue
Yes,
you
sir.
have taken. So
Yes,
can I
sir.
know what was the motivation? Any personal motivation for taking this issue?
Sir, I just as a part of the project, I visited all the schools, sir.
Okay.
Almost in Chennai, and I try to get their survey, whether they are able to come out. Their problem is they are not able to come out, and they say they don't know any tool about that parenting. We call it as parenting tools. So if it has been installed in their system, at least let them get alarmed.
Yes, yes.
Whether they do it or not, that depends upon. But at least children who are really bothered, they will stop. So
They must know we are going in
I
the
just
wrong way.
got the idea after talking to them. I went to the school, sir, and I found
Very
they are
nice
not
work.
able to. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
It was very nice presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for your presentation, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Our
I
last
think
presentation.
last one is
Yes.
Gautam SK. Gautam SK.
Yes.
Yeah. Gautam, are you there?
Yes, sir, he is here. Ma'am, will you please
Mr. Gautam?
stop?
That's what I'm trying. I don't know how. It's not coming into my. Can you stop it, ma'am? Can you just stop sharing it? It's not. I'm not able to get the screen properly. It's going off.
Give me 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah, I found out. Yeah, this go. Thank you. Sorry.
Komati madam, in which university you are working in Chennai?
It's called Ahmed University, sir. It is a maritime university. Maritime Academy of Maritime and Education and Training. It's a shipping-based, university. So I'm in charge for ICT, etc. Sir.
You've
I'm
been to that
director of ICT.
Hindustan Engineering College for some time.
Yeah, sir.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I was there from 2014 to 16, sir.
Ashok Varghese is my good friend.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. Is my voice audible?
Yes. Please start your presentation.
Yes, sir. So I would like to continue without the video because I've been connected to my mobile phone. I would face some bandwidth issues. So is that
no issue?
Yeah. Fine, thank you, sir.
Just go ahead.
Gautam sir, you have just 5 minutes.
Please make it fully, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'll
because we
within 5
can't
minutes.
stretch our session this much. So please try to conclude it on time. Actually, before 5 minutes.
Sure. I'll try my level best. Okay. Good afternoon, members of ICTCS and all the participants. Today, I'll be presenting my paper called Machine Learning Based Security Authentication for Wireless Multimedia Networks. The authors are myself, Gautam SK. I'm an MTech scholar from the Department of CST BMS IT Bangalore. And my guide, Dr. Anjan K. Govindhanai, is an associate professor from the Department of CST. So starting with the introduction, I would give a brief of what is a wireless multimedia network. So it's a network that sends and receives multimedia data that includes text, audio, video, and GIFs including wirelessly. So when this network is converged with AI technologies, it is expected to bring wide range of services and applications for monitoring, entertaining, training, and operating in areas such as smart homes, smart cities, healthcare, and transportation. So, however, as the complexity of multimedia systems, as well as dramatically increasing the use of multimedia sensors within the smart processors, brings many security and privacy challenges. So, there is utmost necessary to design an effective protection mechanism for wireless multimedia networks to ensure the security of communication transmission. So what led to or why there is a need for an AI-based security? The first problem is the unbalanced growth in low computational cost and high security. So as the traditional security solutions suffered from advisory attacks in complex multimedia communication scenarios, that is mainly due to the large number of multimedia sensors used or a wide range of applications that were run on it. And the security methods that were implemented at higher levels had a difficulty to overcome the conflicts between the cost and the security that led to the failure in authentication mechanism, and where the illegitimate devices would take the sensitive data because of forced public keys. So there was a need for a new concept based on artificial intelligence assisted lightweight authentication, which will be extremely beneficial. And the second problem faced was the complex authentication process, which induced latency in real-time multimedia networks. The traditional authentication techniques required more effort to extract complex features to increase the level of security, that resulted in higher computation overheads, and the worse, longer communication latency. It was not at all compromised for a real-time multimedia networks. And the conventional statistical schemas for authentication require sufficient time to manually select the fixed statistical characteristics, thus leading to a non-adaptive authentication process. As a result, a new adaptive authentication schema was necessary for security application scenarios. So the third and the final problem faced was the inaccurate prediction during the security authentication procedure. The conventional authentication techniques also had difficulty to establish accurate detection model in an unpredictable communication environment or in a practical scenario. And the statistical hypothesis testing may use only limited statistical properties to predict the outcome, which brought huge loopholes in the learning model and posed potential security threats to continuous authentication. So it was necessary to design an intelligent authentication approach that does not require any explicit programming. So to empower these problems, I've designed an LPA model, lightweight physical layer authentication model. The first step was to estimate the physical attributes of only legitimate multimedia devices. And the attributes were divided into two segments, one for the training purpose and then the second one for the testing purpose. And using the training data set, I trained an LPA model. And using the test data set, I ensured that the model had a required detection recognition rate. So once the model was trained, I use the attributes from unknown devices as input to predict whether the device is a legitimate device or not. If the device is a legitimate device, I would receive the data and update the data set. If no, I had used to refuse the data. So the results and the discussion. So the attributes which I used to train the model were the first one is RSS, receive signal strength. The second one, DAS, distance between adjacent signals, and PCC, Pearson correlation coefficient, which was a correlation strength between the RSS and the DAS. So using these three attributes, I considered three scenarios where I trained model. At the first scenario, I trained the model using the RSS attributes. And in the second scenario, I trained the model using DAS and PCC. And in the third scenario, I trained the model with multiple attributes that includes all the three, RSS, DAS, and PCC. And as shown in the figure, you can see that the model that is trained by multiple attributes gave a better detection accuracy than the models that were trained with lesser attributes. And the classification report which I got by training the models were ranging from 8.3 to 9.67 randomly when the attributes were selected. I would like to compare the results with the proposed system along with the key-based crypto system. So the proposed system does not require any key management and transmission, while the key-based crypto system required. Both of the schemas required channel estimation, but the proposed system did not require any feature selections. Only the key-based crypto system required. The proposed system was more adaptable than the key-based one and had a very low latency when compared to the key-based crypto system. The proposed system was morely focused on giving security levels on the primary levels, physical layers.
Gautam sir.
But the key-based crypto system focused more on the upper layer. The time complexity was bigger one for the proposed system and key-based.
Gautam sir, am I audible?
Yes. I'm concluding this is the last two slides.
Here also is a time complexity.
Yes. Yes. So these are the last two files. Is that a problem?
Within 1 minute, if you can conclude, please do.
Yeah, sure. So, okay, to summarize the for a future perspective, I would like to train my model with deep learning so that it would transform the model-based authentication to a data analytics-centric security technology. And one more problem which I would face a lot is to train the model with respect to a practical perspective, because it will improve the adaptability of the model. To conclude, I would tell that the ML-based security authentication schema, which has been proposed, has a very important practical significance. It not only ensures the privacy, it also enables a lightweight authentication for multiple multimedia nodes. And as the dimension of the features, if I increase the dimension of the feature, I will achieve a better security performance. And it has also been found that the deep learning assisted method can effectively improve the authentication accuracy. So these are the, I would tell these are the most 5 references which I focus more on. I would like to tell, I use the second one, that is a physical layer authentication enhancement using Gaussian measure, which gave me an idea for using authentication physical layer, and where they have used only 2 channel state vectors, and there was an idea that why don't we use more than 2 channels. So that's why I've started focusing on 3 attributes which I have done. So thank you. Any questions, sir?
Yes, it's a
You're
good
not
one.
audible, sir.
Yeah.
So Vijay Singh, sir.
Are you?
Fine.
Hello.
Gundala sir, please.
No, it's okay. You can ask.
I was just asking, what was the experimental setup for the implementation part? How did you implement?
So the implementation is what? Like I took the 3 attributes. I implemented using supervised machine learning algorithms. I focus more on SVM, but I have made a comparison between different machine learning algorithm. But I use
for implementation. What tool have you used?
SVM, sir. Support vector.
Okay, fine.
So which data you have taken?
I've taken 3 attributes of physical layers. That
data from where?
From it was taken from a farm and smart home this dataset. It was from a reference paper. One of the reference paper provided me with the data sets.
So okay, so you use the same data. So did you compare the work with that particular paper?
No, sir. I did not use the same data. So they were working on different technology. I just took certain attributes from there. The dataset had the certain attributes which I required.
What was the data size?
And I trained my model.
Data size?
Say that I compared with not with that paper. I compared with the Gaussian. There was a paper that is where they did physical authentication with Gaussian mixture model. So they had so I made a comparison with that, sir. So that where I did.
What was data size? Data size,
I got only 200, around 200 for each of the attributes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, I had a very difficult in finding data sets. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You can improve in the later one. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, madam, please go ahead.
We all done our presentations. So I would like to thank all of you, and especially for our researchers for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session. All our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative and knowledgeable as well. All presenters would be getting their digital certificate, payment receipts, and thank you letter through mail within couple of working days. Further, all papers have already forwarded to the Stringer for publication process. The publication will be live within 4-5 months. Kindly cooperate with the team of ICTCS during this tenure. I also thank our session chairs, Dr. Vijay Singh and Dr. Mahesh Bundele, for chairing the sessions. Thank you for your valuable presence, sir.
Okay,
Thank you, sir, to find the time and spend with us.
Thank you, sir. Nice, sir.
Thank
See
you,
you
thank
soon
you, sir.
physically.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay,
Thank you,
before
everyone.
we all are, okay, thank you for your presentation.
Okay,
Before
bye
we
bye. Take
all
care.
are, no sir,
Okay, you want to say something?
yes sir, I want to say
Okay.
something,
Please.
that I request all the participants to turn on the camera so I can take glimpse of ICTCS. Give me a big smile of yours so I can save it as glimpse of ICTCS and
Now
share it.
session is over, so everybody can smile. There is no problem.
Yes, sir. There is no problem. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Mahesh sir. Thank you,
Thank
Vijay
you.
Singh sir. Thank you for your presence, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
madam.
to find the time to spend with us, and thank you for your humble and kind information and comments. It is
Thank
means
you
a
so
lot,
much.
sir. This is, sir, this is small taken from us. For you, Mahesh sir.
Okay, thank you.
For you, Vijay sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, okay.
Vijay sir, would you say something? Would you like to say something?
Oh, but thank you so much for joining, all of you, and I wish I give my best wishes to the organizers. You keep on organizing such a nice programs and keep on giving the platform to the researchers of all over the world so that they can contribute their papers and they can share their feelings to each other. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mahesh sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.